up everyone, I'm Ronnie Woo and this is Cooking for You and Me. Today I'm showing you guys how to make my very popular s'mores bars. Every single time I make these, they're gone in like 5 minutes, no joke. So with that being said, I'm pretty sure you can't go wrong with these ooey gooey morsels of deliciousness, whether you're making them for a bunch of kids or a bunch of adults. So stay tuned.
You and me, we like the same kind of music. That's why we make a good you and me. We got style, baby, we know how to use it. That's why we make a good you and me.
I had so much fun cooking with Uncle Ron.
So let's jump right in. So the first thing you want to do is preheat your oven at 350 degrees. Next, I want to take a small to medium baking dish and line it with some parchment paper. First, you want to tear out a large piece of parchment paper. Then you want to place your baking dish right in the center of it. Then you want to cut the parchment paper towards each corner of the baking dish, stopping when you hit the glass. Next, you want to place the parchment paper into the baking dish to see how it fits. Lastly, you just want to trim off the edges so it fits perfectly into the baking dish. So now that we have our baking dish lined with parchment paper, let's start making our graham cracker dough. The first thing we want to do is cream together our butter and our sugar. You want 1 stick of room temperature butter and 3/4 of a cup of sugar. If you have an electric mixer, you can use that, but I just like doing it by hand. And all you have to do is take a fork and gently but firmly press the butter into the sugar while slowly spinning the bowl. So now that we have our butter and our sugar cream, now we want to add our eggs and our vanilla extract. We want 1 large egg and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then you want to take your fork and vigorously mix the egg and the vanilla into the butter and sugar. So now that I have my wet ingredients, let's get our dry ingredients together before we mix the two together. The first thing I want is 1 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour, half a teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt or a couple of pinches. Next you want to take about 6 sheets of graham crackers and finely grind them in a food processor. Then you want to take about 3/4 cup of this finely ground graham cracker and add it to your dry ingredients. Now you just want to thoroughly combine all of your dry ingredients. Alright, so we have our dry ingredients combined. Now I want to add it to the wet ingredients. We just want to gently but firmly press the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients while slowly spinning the bowl. You want to do this until your dry ingredients and your wet ingredients are well combined. Alright, it looks like we have our graham cracker dough. The next thing we want to do is take half of it and lay it out on the bottom of our baking dish. You just want to take little chunks of dough and gently press it into the bottom of the baking dish. So we have half of the dough pressed in the bottom of our baking dish. The next thing we want to do is add a layer of chocolate. I want to use about 4 regular sized milk chocolate bars, and you can substitute this for dark chocolate if you like. So we have our chocolate bars lined. Now we want to add a layer of marshmallow cream. We're going to end up using about 1 7-ounce jar of marshmallow cream, but you can always use more or less depending on your preference. Now I'm just going to layer the rest of my graham cracker dough right on top. Now we're just going to sprinkle the remainder of those crushed graham crackers right on top. If you enjoy that crunch, feel free to grind up a couple more sheets of graham crackers, except this time, grind them roughly. After you sprinkle the crushed graham crackers on top, make sure you take your spatula and gently press them into the dough. That way they're not going to fall off and the crunch is going to be a part of the s'mores bar. Alright, this bad boy is ready to go in the oven. I'm going to bake this for about 25 to 30 minutes at 350 degrees until it's slightly brown on top. I'll see you guys when it's done. The s'mores bars are in the oven for about 30 minutes at 350 degrees, and they've been cooling for about 30 to 45 minutes, and now I'm going to give it a taste test. There's a reason why these go so fast when I make them. It's because they're delicious. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to email me, and I'll see you guys next time Cooking for You and Me with Ronnie Woo.
We want food.